Hi everyone, so I'm from Occupy Edinburgh and I've decided to make some videos as part of outreach just to explain a few things about the camp, common questions that we get. I'm going to cover how to get involved, I'm going to cover how the camp works, I'm going to cover lots of different things that have come up in the past and that could come up in the future. So I'm going to start today's video with a little bit just about the occupation in Edinburgh. But first let me just say that if you haven't heard of Occupy Wall Street, then please go search it because that is, there's talk of the first occupation being in Kuala Lumpur, but Occupy Wall Street was the sort of main occupation that inspired the occupation movement to go global, and obviously Wall Street's a very symbolic location. So if you search Occupy Wall Street or just Occupy, and then you'll get, a bit of general information about the movement as a whole. But I'm just here to kind of discuss Occupy Edinburgh and how we work at the moment. So on the first day, we had 500 people on October the 15th. It was really exciting atmosphere. Everyone was making banners and signs, and they went on a march and it was really inspiring. People went up and did speeches, and then it was a bit of a shame that a lot of people just went home, and I think that's because they didn't really know if they could occupy. They didn't know how realistic it was. I don't know why. I'm sure people had their reasons, but luckily there was about 30 of us who decided that we wanted to do this. And on the first day, we had 7 tents, and from there, we now have almost about 50 tents. So we've really grown, and we've grown in numbers, we've grown in strength and momentum. So maybe I should go into the whole working group thing, um, and general assemblies, consensus decision making, because that's an important part about how our camp exists and how our camp evolves and how our camp is structured. So we decided to set up different working groups because the more people that came in and the more things that had to be done, the more we had to separate the areas to make them more sort of organised and manageable. So we have an infrastructure working group, which is probably one of the most vital working groups. It's very hard to decipher what's the most vital, but if infrastructure group wasn't there, then we wouldn't be there, because it's about camp practicalities. It's about preparing for winter. It's about knowing how many people are on site. It's the kitchen team cleaning. It's also about security. So, and we have a really dedicated security team. So I'll maybe just explain the Love Police, which is the name for our security team. And basically, they have their high vis jackets and they stay up all night long making sure that the campers are safe. And I've stayed for many nights, and every night that I've stayed, I've always felt safe because of the security team. So I would like to just say a big thanks to them, because we are in the middle of a city centre. So obviously on a Friday, Saturday night, of course, you do get people trying to come in who are drunk and disruptive, and potentially want to come in and you know cause some disruption. So they are there 24 hours a day making sure that we are safe. So next we have the outreach team. The outreach team are responsible for outreaching to local communities, to organisations, trade unions, lots of different things like that. Public speaking, talking to the public, handing out flyers, making banners. That's all under outreach. And then we have media, which is very closely knit with outreach, because they do the kind of same thing as outreach do, only they do it more on the online domain. They work on the website. They do a lot of the technical stuff like live streaming, which we have only been able to do a few times. But now that we have a generator on site, we're hoping to get a media tent, which means that we can have a computer there and hopefully we can live stream every day, which would be great. Next we have what's next? Oh, we've got the treasurer. I think that's self-explanatory. They make sure that all the money is accounted for, all the receipts are taken, all the ins and outs are all documented, because we obviously want that as transparent as possible. Another group we have is liaison. Now this is just like one or two people responsible for this, and they talk to Essential Edinburgh, they talk to the council, and they talk to Lothian Borders Police. So maybe this actually leads really well into um, why haven't you been evicted yet from St Andrew's Square, or why haven't you been given an eviction notice? Well, that's because St Andrew's Square is actually privately owned. It's owned by, I think, 17 landlords. I may be wrong, might be out by one or two. And interestingly enough, those are including RBS, Lloyd's TSB, and Standard Life. So it's quite an interesting location, and we're obviously right across from the RBS headquarters. Now, because this is private land, it's not actually anything to do with the council. It's Essential Edinburgh that maintain the property for those private landlords. So our relations between Essential Edinburgh are quite vital, and it's something that we have actually, we've been communicating very well with them, and the head, I think it's the head of Essential Edinburgh, Andy O'Neill, he actually came down to one of our general assemblies and we discussed moving our tents for the Christmas period just to make way for their stage and their Christmas tree, which we were happy to oblige because we don't want to be disruptive to the public in that way. We don't want to be seen to be deliberately trying to stop something that's been going on for years. So we just moved our tents out the way. They're still there. Our marquees are still there. It was just a case of moving them out of the location where the tree was meant to go, and our banners are still up. So it's a great success. Our sort of relationship with Essential Edinburgh so far. Um, we're not really sure on our legal standings. We're not really sure if it's one landlord that can remove us or if they all have to decide. That's something that we're working on. But I think one of the reasons we haven't been evicted yet is because the council have no, um, they don't own that land. So I'm aware that this video is running on quite a lot, but that just shows you how much information there is. I've not even got onto the General Assemblies yet. So I'll finish this video at that, and the next video will be on the General Assemblies, consensus decision making, and then I'll lead on to the next few videos. Thanks for watching.